On Global TV News Prime tonight, as protest enters seventh day, Minister defends federal government action on the protest. Chief of Defense Staff expresses concern over military-led government in West Africa as Chief of Defense Staff of the Economic Community of West African State meet in Abuja. Federal government to create 1 million jobs. In Business Tonight, Expo to deepen China-Nigeria trade ties. Import duty waiver on rice orders begins next week, says federal government. In sports, Paris 2024 favor of Philly finishes 6th in a 200 meters final. Hello and welcome to all the viewers and around the world to News Prime here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Edikan Michael. I'd like to remind you that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 at the Star Times, channel 276. Now the details of the news. The federal government, the Federal Capital Territory, has witnessed a surge in vehicular movement on the seventh day of the nationwide protests, indicating a gradual return to normalcy. Our correspondent, while monitoring the situation, tells us more. From the popular Worcester Market, despite the increased vehicular movement, motorists, PD traders who relied on government workers for patronage were left waiting as businesses remained slow.
The protest sef, I don't see anything where they change sef. They say federal government say make they come dialogue. If they fit dialogue, e good. We love him, he's our father, he's our grandfather. We love him, but he should let us dialogue so everything can come down. Things are too expensive.
There's no business that have not had a shaking up. This starting from that very day one, on Thursday, it was 2 kiosks for everybody in the market, running helter-skelter. Very bad for business these days, but I pray that God should strengthen the minds of Nigerians.
Since last week, we have been suffering. Even my children are hungry at home now. We go suffer to buy fuel, suffer to look for passenger. This Nigerian done too much. This is not too much. Nobody will die for street before they know so we're hungry. May they help us. Because we talk, they say may they no protest. Now we know they protest again, but may they give us what you go eat. We are hungry.
Our president, if he say come out, or the National Assembly come out and talk better thing for us. They just fight for their own pocket. They are not after for masses.
The protest is not for trouble, but we are just crying for help. If he can really help, let him come to our rescue. Let him help us. We are tired. Some of us don't even know where to go to. We don't.
There have been a very significant impact on the lives of the people here at the Federal Capital Territory, which many says they are struggling to survive. However, they are advising that the government will look beyond the chaos caused by some looters in the course of the protest and address the demands of the protesters, which should be paramount and priority for the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Edikan Michael, Global TV. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says that Tinubu administration's primary goal is to rectify historical missteps and not impose hardship on Nigerians. Speaking in Abuja during a briefing for the diplomatic community on recent nationwide protests, Idris stressed that the president is committed to implementing reforms aimed at driving sustainable growth and improving citizens' quality of life. The minister, acknowledging the current hardships, noted that the administration decisions, including the painful abolition of the fuel subsidy, were aimed at redirecting funds towards the critical sectors like healthcare, education, infrastructure, and security. Meanwhile, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, has reiterated Nigeria's stance against the foreign interference in its domestic affairs. Tuga, who made these known at the press briefing members of the diplomatic corps on the programs and policies of the federal government in Abuja, stressed the importance of international relationships. He spoke against the backdrop of the nationwide End Bad Governance protest, which commenced on Thursday, 1st August,
in response to the hardship experienced by the citizens in the country. Paul Ibe, media head to the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, has berated the presidency over its reaction to Atiku's statement on use of lethal force. Ibe said the recent admission by the military to mistakenly killing a 16-year-old boy in Zaria, Kaduna State was exactly what his principal had alluded to in its first statement. Speaking against the backdrop of the ongoing bad governance protests across the country, an effort by the security agencies to stop the protests, especially in areas where the situation has turned violent, Atiku said the service chief could be held accountable even after leaving office. The presidency has told former Vice President Atiku Abubakar that the right of assembly and freedom of expression guaranteed to citizens in the Constitution are not absolute. In a statement, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, while reacting to a post Atiku made on X, said the right of citizens can be abridged in the interest of public peace. Atiku had in the post cautioned the security agencies against using lethal force against the peaceful civilian protesters who are demonstrating against bad governance and the hardship in the country. The immediate office of the Ibadan past governor of Kogi State, Laji Yahaya Bello, has refuted the claim in certain quarters that he is one of the sponsors of the ongoing protests across the country. A statement issued and signed by Michael Hoyeret stated that the claim was part of the grand plans by some enemies of the former governor to frame him. The statement described the claim as reckless, irresponsible, and malicious, adding that the former governor remained a patriot who had devoted his time, resources, energy to building a united and prosperous Nigeria. The Northern Youth Assembly has kicked against calls for relocation of NCC ICT Park from Kano to Kebbi, sequel to attack on the facility by hoodlums during nationwide protests. A statement by Arewa Youth Assembly signed by Dr. Aliyu Mohammed, President, and Dr. Avis Gaba, Secretary, dismissed the purported move as a calculated deception meant to mislead the good people of Kebbi State. The statement by the Pan-Arewa Regional Assembly stressed that while they acknowledge the call for increased investment in Kebbi State as valid and a welcome development, it is however crucial to consider the several factors before thinking on some significant project undertaken. The Nigerian army says a soldier who killed a teenage protester in Zaria, Kaduna State has been arrested. It was reported that one of the soldiers on patrol in Samaru, Zaria, gunned down the victim, Ismaili Mohammed, who was a secondary school leaver. Samaru community is a host to hundreds of staff and students of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. It was gathered that Mohammed was shot dead at his residence in the Sankin Power Street. The police in Rivers says criminal elements have hijacked the bad governance protests in the state and targets the Metro East and businesses. SP Grace Iringe Koko and the command spokespersons who made these known in Port Harcourt expressed concern about the situation, adding that measures are being implemented to maintain law and order. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has expressed concern over the recent military government changes in West Africa, causing the unintended repercussions and jeopardizing the democratic values in the region. General Musa was speaking at the 42nd Ordinary Meeting of ECOWAS Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff in Abuja, explained that the threat of military takeover of government must be discouraged. Kikelo Makere has the details.
Defense chiefs of countries that make up the Economic Community of West African States have converged in Abuja for the 42nd Ordinary of ECOWAS Committee of Chief of Defense Staff. Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa, who is also the Chairman ECOWAS Committee of Defense Chiefs, noted that the complexity of the security landscape requires sharing of intelligence across the region. General Musa added that in democratic countries, the military must uphold democratic values in line with the constitutional provisions.
Let me therefore use this opportunity to emphasize that as democratic countries, we the military must uphold democratic values in line with our various constitutions. I'm also optimistic that this meeting will assist us to prevent such abnormalities while strengthening our collective resolve to bring about peace and sustainable development to our region.
Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru and that of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga challenged the security chiefs to critically address issues of terrorism by collaborating effectively to combat the illegal movement of small arms and light weapons in the region.
Let me remind us all that the security landscape of West Africa is presently marked by both complex challenges and opportunities for cooperation. Accordingly, joint efforts towards countering terrorism, managing cross-border crimes, hybrid threats, as well as enhancing regional security are vital to safeguarding our nations and promoting sustainable development. Prioritize the activation of the ECOWAS standby force for counter-terrorism efforts.
Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, ECOWAS Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa, explained that the 42nd ordinary meeting was delayed because of the political development exemplified by coup in the region. He added that these allow the chief to review the implementation of decisions taken at the previous meetings.
Ordinary meeting have allowed you, among other initiatives, to develop a roadmap for the activation of the ECOWAS standby force in its kinetic mode to address the existential threat posed by terrorism and unconstitutional changes of government.
Top on the agenda of the meeting was the activation of ECOWAS standby force against terrorism. Chief of Defense Cape Verde, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Guinea-Bissau and Togo were absent at the meeting. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Director General of the National Productivity Center, Bafa Baba, has assured Nigerians that the center has designed a program that will employ 1 million Nigerians. He said the center had started working on the new plan and would communicate with the State Minister of Labor and Employment. According to him, if the program is approved by the President, it will create jobs and generate a whopping 3 billion naira revenue monthly for the government. The House of Representatives has clarified that there is no rift between the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, and his deputy, Benjamin Kalu, following the dissolution of the ad hoc committee investigating the oil theft and the importation of the adulterated fuel. In a statement by spokesperson Rotimi Akin, the House observed that a certain media outlet had speculated about tension following the committee's dissolution. Akin stressed that the leadership action aimed to ensure the efficacy, independence and effectiveness of their investigations. Governor Abdullahi Suleh Nasarawa has reaffirmed his administration commitment to paying the 70,000 minimum wage recently approved by President Bola Tinubu to civil servants in the state. Peter Him, the special assistant to the governor on public affairs, started this in Lafia, the state capital, during a courtesy visit to the Nigerian Union of Journalists Correspondent Chapel, Nasarawa State. He said the payment of the new minimum wage to civil servants will not only improve their welfare but also boost their productivity in the state. The police command in Jigawa says it has arrested 82 additional suspects for looting and the vandalism of the public property during the nationwide protests. The command spokesman, DSP Lawan Shaisu, said in a statement in Dosa that the suspects were arrested on Saturday and Monday. Items recovered from 212 suspects include 303 bags of fertilizer, 50 motorcycles, 3 tricycles, 12 bicycles, 9 chairs, 54 cartons of mosquito net, 2 bags and office furniture. The federal government says plans are underway for the construction of the Nigerian Creative City, a one-stop hub for talent development and youth empowerment. The Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Anatu Musawa, said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Abuja. Musawa said the project is part of the initiative conceived by the ministry to provide a platform to harness the creative opportunities across the country for economic gains. The federal government has announced that the guidelines for the suspension of custom duty and taxes on imported food items are to commence next week. In July, the federal government approved a 150-day duty-free window to allow the importation of maize, the oats brown, rice, and wheat as part of the measures to combat the rising food inflation across the country. The initiative was based on the implementation of the Presidential Accelerated and Stabilization Advancement Plan. Speaking at the meeting of the heads of security agencies in Abuja, the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adeniyi, said the implementation of the policy will commence once the guidelines are ready. The Plateau State Governor, Barrister Caleb Mofang, has revealed the 24-hour curfew imposed on Jos Mercury Metropolis. The 24-hour curfew, which took effect from Monday, August 2nd, has now been relaxed to between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. with effect immediately. This was announced in a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Affairs to Governor Mofang. Other Nigerians residing in America under the aegis of the Nigerians in diaspora organizations America have called on the National Assembly to ensure that the ongoing constitutional amendments include the provision for diaspora voting. In a statement signed by the Chairman Bakola Aloye and the Secretary Ocha Ozekwe, the organization praised Nigerians in Diaspora Commission for successfully hosting the National Diaspora Day 2024 and the second edition of the Diaspora Merit Award. The statement expressed the diaspora communities and eagerness to see the realization of diaspora voting, and they commended the Nigerian parliamentary leaders for the commitment towards this goal. No fewer than 4,837 victims of human trafficking from Nigeria have voluntarily returned to the country since 2017. According to a report by the International Organization for Migration, the victims returned to Nigeria under the IOM's Assisted Voluntary Return and the Reintegration Program, with women and girls constituting the nearly 88% of the returnees, while men accounted for 13%. The data show that most victims fall within the age bracket of 18 to 39 years, with those under 18 to 25 being particularly susceptible to recruitment by traffickers. Within this first quarter of the 2024, they said they facilitated the return of 167 victims to Nigeria, 81% of whom were female. Medical doctors have commenced an indefinite strike in Ogun State over unresolved issues concerning their allowances. It was reported that the industrial action is hinged on the pay disparity between federal and state medical workers. The chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association, Dr. Kunle Ashimi, confirmed the commencement of the strike at a press conference in Abeokuta. According to him, the core of the doctors' grievances lies in the reviewed consolidated medical salary structure, which he believes should be implemented to stem the exodus of medical professions from the state. You're watching News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV, channel 365, and Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles are showing the screen. When News Prime returns, the federal government spends $600 million on fuel importation monthly. We'll bring these more and more stories right after this break. To stay with us.
Welcome to Bayes University, Abuja, Nigeria, with a legacy of excellence and a vision for nurturing future leaders. Bayes University is in a league of its own. We're all about our people, processes, and technology.
Bayes is one of the highly rated universities in Nigeria in terms of product quality standards.
We don't just produce graduates, but groom people into employers of labor.
And it has made us understand that learning is all about three things. We learn, we unlearn, and we relearn.
Bayes University Hospital offers a range of specialized services equipped with the latest technology, manned by a team of trusted professionals. And now, our vision extends beyond our walls with the Baba Ahmed University in Kano following our lead. Join us at Bayes University and invest in your future today.
Bayes University is the institution that you will get the best value for money education in Nigeria.
Bayes University. Learn to live.
You're still watching News Prime. Many thanks for staying with us. And now to business news now. To the organizers of the China-Nigeria Expo say it will strengthen trade ties between China and Nigeria. The expo, which is scheduled for November 5th to 8th in Lagos, is said to be the largest gathering of Chinese manufacturers in Nigeria and the West African region. According to a statement from the organizers, Nigeria is China's second largest trading partner in Africa, and China is the country's largest source of import. Chinese customs data show that bilateral trade volume between China and Nigeria reached $23.9 billion in 2022, with China's export to Nigeria amounting to $22.3 billion and import from Nigeria totaling $1.6 billion. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has revealed that the country currently spends $600 million on fuel importation monthly. He stated that the higher import bill is due to the neighboring countries up to Central Africa benefiting from the country's fuel import. Edun explained that the situation was the reason President Bola Tinubu removed the fuel subsidy, as the country does not know the exact amount of fuel consumed internally. The Nigerian Army says its troops have destroyed several illegal refining sites in Rivers and Bayelsa State, respectively. He said the destruction was done during an operation by troops of the Land Component, the Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe. The acting director of Information of Army Public Relations, Lieutenant General, disclosed this in a statement issued in Port Harcourt. And now the federal government, in collaboration with the International Cotton Advisory Committee, has begun the restitutions of the Nigerian cotton industry. The target is to create over 1.4 million jobs annually on the cotton textile sector, while the focus is to develop the key components of the cotton value chain comprising farming, weaving, regarding and linking of cotton. Shettima urged stakeholders to come up with a roadmap for the revitalization of the cotton textile sector in the country. Noting that it is time to work more and talk less. On the foreign scene tonight, thousands of UK riot police stood ready to deal with more potential outbreaks of violence which erupted more than a week ago after 3 children were murdered. Far-right groups have planned demonstrations in more than 30 locations, with immigration lawyers and buildings hosting asylum seekers said to be the primary target. The government has said 6,000 specialist police are being ready to deal with England's worst disorder in over a decade, which has seen the hundreds arrested and more than 100 charged. In sports tonight, world champion Toby Amusan qualified for the 100 meters hurdle semi-finals in the ongoing 2024 Olympics in Paris. Amusan led the pack of 8 athletes with 12.49 seconds, followed by America's Alicia Johnson with 12.61, and Jamaica's Janet Brown qualified with 12.84 seconds. Away from that, still in Paris, Nigeria's Favour Philly concluded a 200 meters campaign at the Paris Olympic Games with a 6th place finish, crossing the line in 22.24 seconds. American Gabby Thomas claimed the gold medal with a time of 21.83 seconds, edging out Julia Efred, who had earlier secured the 100 meters double sprint gold. Philly's performance followed a remarkable semi-final where she finished second with a season-based time of 22.05 seconds, fueling hopes that she might emulate the feat of Nigerian legend Mary Onyali, the only Nigerian to have won a medal in the 200 meters event at the Olympics. A former Nigerian Ahmad thrower has won an Olympic medal for the United States in the ongoing 33rd Paris Olympic Games in France. The 28-year-old threw the season's best of 75.48 meters to win the silver for adopted country. She finished behind Canada's Cambrian Rogdarts, who threw the 76.79 meters to win the gold, while China's Jews picked the bronze with a throw of 74.27 meters. And that's a package on News Prime tonight, coming to you live from the nation's capital on DSTV, Channel 365 and StarTimes, Channel 276. Kindly follow us on all streaming platforms using our Global TV, NG, and other handles now showing on the screen. I am Edikan Michael, and thanks for staying with us. See you again.